Likutei Halachot, Orach Chaim, Halacha Dalid, paragraph Aleph, 4.1. Yitgaber kari la'amod baboker, sheyehu me'orer hashachar. This is again the Shulchan Aruch. We have to get up like a lion to wake up the dawn. And again, the Rama says, Shivita Hashem l'negdi tamid, we place Hashem before us, as we said. This, the Rab Natan is just bringing it down. Now he's going to explain another idea from it. Al pi ha-Torah, this is going to be according to the Torah of Likutei Maran, Meshra de Sakina, which is the field of knives, B'siman Lamed, in chapter 30. Ayen Sham Kol HaTorah. See there all the lesson there. Basically, this is about, like it says in Bechorot, Masechet Bechorot, Rabbi Yoshua and the men of Athens, and they were asking questions back and forth, which have a lot of deep meaning, that Rabbeinu Zal has many chapters in Likutei Maran about that whole all those conversations. So that's why I see there, but he's going to explain the point, Rav Natan over here. V'hakelal, which means a little bit of a general rule or a summary, is ki tzarich kol adam levakesh ulchapes me'od me'od. A person has to search and request a lot, meaning it's very important, achar rabbi, for a rabbi, amiti, a truthful rabbi, meaning a true rabbi. Hagadol, great, b'ma'ala mufleget me'od, on an exceptional level, meaning a high level, mufleget, like from the word peleg, to split, or meaning separate, meaning he has to be separate from the rest, on another level, a great rabbi. Sheyuchal leha'ir bo hasagat elokut, that this rabbi can instill in this person leha'ir bo, to light him up with hasagat elokut, with understandings of godliness. Ki hasagot elokut, the understandings of godliness, I'afshar la'asid, you can't really know them, ki'im, unless al yedei kamat tzimtzumim, if there's many constrictions, which means to know things that are so high, unless Hashem lowers it to our plane and in our understanding, we won't really understand such lofty ideas. And since Hashem is infinite, how is a being like us supposed to understand someone like that? So while in truth we don't know who Hashem is, but the world that He created, that we can know. But even the world He made is so vast and so complex in the Kabbalah and what's really going on in Shamayim, that even that, it's not easy to understand unless He brings it down to our level. And one rabbi explained that if you want to explain a boat, a ship, to a kid, so maybe you buy him a little bathtub boat, and you try and tell him it's kind of like that. You see, he has an idea of it. At least it brings it down to his level. Now, he still won't really know what a ship is and understand certainly how to build one or, the complexities of it, but it means at least he has an idea now. He has something to go on. So the same thing, when we talk about the Kabbalah and what's going on in Shamayim, even the little bit that we have a mashal for, a parable down here, at least it's just something, but we'll never really know what's up there, of course, until we get there. When we live there in Olam Haba, we will know. But to know it in this world, in this physical plane, it's virtually impossible. All we have is little mishalim to go on. And that's the only way to do it. And it says, what are these simtsumim, constrictions? Shehem bechinat sivuvim vehakdamot. Sivuvim means like going around. It's almost like going around the topic in order to ease into the topic. First you have to talk about things that are off the topic, but it's concerning the topic, and then it leads you into the topics. That's why it's called sivuv. It's like it's around the topic. And hakdamot. Hakdamot is preliminary information. Headings, headlines, things like that. So this is what the tzimtzumim are. We need those in order to then get to the heavier ideas. Kemo hamelamed shelomed im hatinok. Just like a teacher that teaches the kid, the child. Just like, you see Mishnayot, it's very hard to just open Mishnah and talk and explain. He doesn't know what's going on. Although he understands your English, he understands the sentence you just said, he just doesn't know what you're talking about. So it's not a gap in translation or in like you need an interpreter. It's the idea behind it. He just doesn't know where you're coming from. Some Mishnayot, they really throw you off the topic, even from the first line, because there's no, preliminary information. So that's why the rabbi usually has to start off, even adults, not even children, with preliminary information and all, like you see in Art Scroll, the notes and all the gap of, what Rashi will sometimes fill in to make a full sentence, you see. So you have, that's what it means. It was done b'tzimtzum in order to help us to understand. So what the lofty idea was, we kind of take it down and make it palpable for the person to understand. So Hashem did that with His world. And we'll see where we see these mishalim in the world for lofty ideas. We'll get to that in a moment. V'chol ma shehu katan b'ma'ala biyoter. And anyone who is small, meaning he's not religious or he's not close to Hashem, and his emunah level, that's what it means, small in his spiritual self. V'chol ma shehu chole biyoter. And as well as someone who's sick biyoter, meaning if he's very sick, what do you need? Hu tzarich rofe gadol biyoter. He needs a very good doctor, the best doctor if he's very sick. Dehainu rabbi gadol biyoter. He needs a great rabbi. Now, what is this talking about? What do you mean if you're sick, you need a great doctor? So this is the rule we know. If a person has a cold, you go to a doctor, regular doctor, whatever he'll give you, even if there's anything to give. Any small ailment. Now let's say a guy, God forbid, he has something serious. So now he has to go to a serious specialist. So you see, when you're sick biyoter, very sick, you have to go to a doctor biyoter. That's gadol biyoter, a great doctor. Same thing in spirituality. Sometimes people think, I don't know too much, I don't learn too much. So this rabbi that he knows a little bit more than me, he's great for me because he knows more than me, he'll teach me. But you have to use the same rule in the physical as you do the spiritual. If you're very down and you're not doing much and you're not very spiritual, then you have to go to a very big rabbi to get you out of it and to pull you back. Because the small rabbi, he's not going to know how to do that to you. It's like going to the small doctor, God forbid, for a serious ailment. Even though he's still a rabbi and he's still a doctor, but he's not professional enough or he's not experienced enough to deal with you on your low level or the sick guy that's very sick. And it says, Sheye gadol b'mala kol kach, he has to be so great, ad sheyuchal lirapot oto, gam ken, he has to be able to heal him, v'yuchal l'sabeb imo, gam ken, ad sheyachnis bo hasagot elukut. And again, he has to know how to l'sabeb imo, to give him all that roundabout information. He has to know how to talk to him, to ease him into it, in order that he'll instill in him these thoughts of godliness and these ideas, shezeh ikar tachlit, which is the main thing and main purpose. So you need a rabbi that knows what he's doing if he's going to pull a guy that's very low out of his lowness or lowliness, in order to get him to know thoughts of things that are holier in this world. Voar sham, and it explains there, of course, in the Likutei Maharan section that we quoted. She'elu hatzimtzumim, these simtzumim, constrictions, shehem bechinat hakdamot, which are those preliminary informations, as we said, v'chulei she'al yadam ba'im lasagot elokut, that because of them, through them, we will reach the understanding of godliness. Hem bechinat chokhmat tata'ah, this is called the lower wisdom. Bechinat malchut, which is malchut, because malchut is the lowest of the sefirot on the bottom, sefirah number 10. Bechinat se'arot, it's the idea of the hairs. Hairs mean, in the Kabbalah, it talks about the hairs on the head, which really symbolize the light. The hair symbolizes the light that's coming from the head, which is the chokhmah. That's why it's talking about the chokhmah. So look how the se'arot, the hairs, is again something lofty. We really don't understand what it means, and the chokhmah that's the hairs are representing. So again, if we would explain this to someone, we would need some kind of a way to explain it to them, and it's bechinat shi'urin de atvan de oraita, which means the se'arot is a play on the word of shi'ur, not just se'ar, which is the hair, but it means a measurement of the atavan, the ot, the letters of deoraita of the Torah. Every letter has a measure, because it's whatever size it is, can be bigger, can be smaller. If you make a kuf, the inside smaller, it could look like a hey. If you make a vav smaller, it could be a yud. Things like that. It has to be its precise measurement. That's the idea. And again, playing on the idea of the letters of the Torah, that they have a measurement which shows a constriction. Bechinat sa'ara ukma, this is the idea of black hairs, sara be'igula, and surrounding hairs, like igul, a circle, surrounding, which the Kabbalah talks about. Now, this means a black hair means black is like hidden, so it means it's like the constrictions. And to say the surrounding hair is, like we said, a surrounding information, off the topic that's around it, sibub. So it's kind of going on that. So these types of hairs are just showing that it's like a constriction idea. Bechinat, like it says in Shirashim, Shechora ani venava. I am black, but I am beautiful. Meaning I'm really beautiful with the full idea of godliness, but I'm also black, showing that I've been constricted so that I am understandable. Just playing it in this way of saying it. Obviously, it means its own pshat when you're reading the pasuk, like we've explained before. But that's what it means in this context, that it's black and constricted, even though it's really has a full idea of godliness and beautiful. Shezehu bechinat, and it's the aspect of Avraham tiken shachrit. Avraham established and set up the shachrit. Now shachrit, besides being the morning prayer, is from the word shachar. Again, shachar, the black. And it says Avraham Avinu, he constricted the godly wisdom in order to help people understand it. That's what it means. He was tiken, the shachar, in order to help people to understand the nava, the beauty, so to speak. So he did that. That's why he's represented by establishing the shachrit. Utzrichin lehachayot et hamalchut, and we have to give life, so to speak, to the malchut. Al yedei or hapanim hameir b'shalosh regalim, by that light which is shining on the shalosh regalim, on the holidays. On the holidays, you have a special light that comes out, a he'ara, and that he'ara gives life to the malchut, which was an aspect of being constricted. And because of the or of the holiday, we're going to be able to understand the idea in its higher way, because we've shed light on it. And so the malchut can rise up and be understood, so to speak, not on the low level of down here, but even on a higher level. That's what the regalim have. That's why they say it's important to learn Torah on the regalim, on the holidays because you're going to gain wisdom on that day. It's just in the air of the holiday, of the day. Now, what it means to have a piece of information in the Kabbalah, which is high, to be brought down to our level so that we can understand it, an example would be, we say that the Yetzer Hara, or the Satan, or the Sitra Achra, the other side, it's all about destruction. But to further understand what that really means, you have something down here which is called, it's a scientific principle. Now we're going to see how the rabbi's going to say in the next paragraph, we have to watch out from science because it can mess a person up, all the philosophies and things of the world. But let's just see the idea for a minute, and then we'll see how to be careful about it. So something called entropy. Entropy is the idea that any system, unless it's fed new energy, it's going to dissipate. It's going to go away. Like a heated room. Unless you feed more heat, it's just going to naturally cool down. Also a table, it just decomposes. Everything's decomposing. Everything goes down. Now this is not the way reality is supposed to be. When Adam first came onto the scene, everything stayed the same. It's only when the Satan got his Zohama, that it's called, his spiritual influence into the world, because Adam sinned. So now that's the thing that's in everything, taking it down. That's why things decompose. No one said it's supposed to be that way. In fact, when we say Olam Haba always gets better and better, really the world was supposed to not only not decompose, but it was supposed to be getting better and better each day. But now it just gets down and more down and worse and worse. So that's the idea of the Zohama, of the Nachash, of the snake, and this idea of the Yetzer Hara, that he's all about destruction. So look how a scientific principle can make us understand a little bit more what it means, the Satan, and what it means about destruction, because he's a spiritual being at the end. So that's why this is something brought to us in this level to understand. Now, to learn science, there's really nothing wrong with learning science because it's Hashem's world. It's Hashem's science. It just means the workings of the universe. Like I say many times, there's nothing wrong with the science. What's wrong is with the scientists. If a person wants to teach science and leave the Torah out of it and leave God out of it, that's where the problem is. And that's where all these secular teachings and philosophies and sciences can get a person to lose their emunah, their faith, because it's never brought with the spiritual aspect behind the physical. But if you talk about science in a Torah way, like we just did, it helps a person to understand and to get closer to his Creator. So again, it's all how it's being done and who's doing it. So science per se, there's nothing wrong with it. It's Hashem's science. It's the scientists that we have to be careful from. V'lif'amim nofelet hamalchut. Sometimes the malchut falls down and goes into the wrong hands, which is the Sitra Achra. Shehi b'chinat dalid. It has an aspect of the letter dalid, and dalid means like dal, poor, or dilit, that it is not. Dilit, like that. And you see the different ideas with that. Leharba malchuyot, the four kingdoms. Shehem chochmot chitzoniyot. You see, when we talked about the wisdoms of the goyim, extraneous wisdoms which are not good. And any wisdom, of course, if it is taught in a Torah eye, then of course it's okay, it becomes Torah at the end. But just to talk Chokhmah without the Torah is really all these chitzoniyot. And that's when the Malchut has fallen into the hands of the Sitra Achra. So really all science today, when it's not explained in Kedusha and in Ruchaniyut, in a spiritual way, it's really making a lot of people lose their emunah. And that's what it means, that it's in the Malchut is down in captivity, and we have to take it up, back up. Umi yuchal lisbol et kol hatzeaka. Who can bear the sound of the yelling? Kishenofelet hamalchut benehem, when the Malchut falls to them. Bechinat, like it says in Kohelet, za'akat moshel bakisilim. The cry of the moshel, like the Malchut. Moshel and Malchut, same idea of sovereignty. Bakisilim, when it goes into the hands of the kisilim, the fools. That's when the Malchut is yelling out. It's been kidnapped. It's like the famous idea of the princess that's been kidnapped and saving the princess. Like Rabbi Nachman's books, The Princess, and also most movies are always about saving the girl and saving the princess. It all comes from this idea that the Malchut is in captivity and we have to save it. Even video games have aspects of saving the princess, just to show that everything comes from Torah. Sha'kesil rotzel itchakem, because the fool wants to become wise, so he uses things of Torah and then he makes his own movies out of them, and that's no good. Utzrichin lechotcha mehem, we have to cut it from them. Bibchinat chatacho le'arba, when Shemuel the prophet, he cut Agag the king, the Amalek king that Shaul did, he spared him, and it was wrong to do that. He cut him up in 4, just to show that he took the Dalit away. And this represented the 4 kingdoms and the idea of the Malchut, now away from, why Malchut? Because he was Melech Agag, so he took the Malchut away from him by cutting him in 4 in that sense. V'zeh al yedei hachesed shemitgaleh al yedei hatochecha. And this is also done through the chesed that the rabbis do for us when they give us a tochacha, when they rebuke us and tell us what we're doing wrong, so that we can then get the Malchut out of the wrong place and we learn the right way. And we don't learn from all the extraneous philosophies and things of the world. We have to have a tochecha so that we don't do the wrong thing, and that will save the Malchut and bring it up also. Ayen sham kol ze hetev. Learn this well.